well as asking questions that have been submitted by you, the audience. And I guess without further ado, we can start having candidates up and introduce themselves. So I guess we're going to go ahead and start with the BCOE candidates. So maybe you can come up and introduce them.
Yeah, so first up are the BCOE candidates, and so for that, can I please have Ryan Torreno from the Our Voice Party come to the stage? And can I also have Aaron Sunga from the PAC or PAC Party come to the stage?
Thank you very much. And I guess these microphones here. If what we could do is we could just go ahead and take a seat, and I guess we'll just first start things off by asking each of the candidates here just to tell a little bit about themselves, why they're running, why they're qualified, and I guess we can go ahead and start off with Ryan Trento, if you don't mind.
Sounds good. Hello, everybody. My name's Ryan Trento, and I'm a third-year mechanical engineer. And I am running with the Our Voice Party. We stand for Pride, Progress, and Empowerment. The reason I wanted to run for BCOE Senator is because I want to empower UCR like it has empowered me. I really believe that the students at this university are some of the brightest in all of California, and I want to give them the best this university has to offer. I have a connection with the BCOE community that allows me to effectively communicate with my community, and I can advocate and address the issues that matter most to students in my community, such as the gender gap in engineering, such as the retention rate in mechanical engineering and all engineering, the job security that people are so scared of once they graduate. And as a BCOE Senator, I want to address all those issues and tackle those issues, as well as take on projects that will serve to improve our undergraduate experience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ryan Torrento of the Our Voice Party. And Aaron Sunga from PAC.
Hi, I'm Aaron Sunga, and I'm a third-year bioengineer major here at UCR, and I am running for BCOE Senator under the party PAC, which it stands for Pride, Action, Change. And I want to run for BCOE Senator because I just feel like BCOE is not very connected with ASUCR. A lot of people don't even know what ASUCR is, and I want to bridge that gap, and I want to be your voice for BCOE, and not only BCOE but also for UCR, because we are first most Highlanders, and then we're also part of BCOE. As in qualifications, I am part of many organizations here on campus. One of them, which is one of my passions, is BMES, which is Biomedical Engineering Society. And being a board member, it has enabled me to communicate really well, and I feel like being a BCOE Senator is important to communicate, and that's why I believe I want to be a BCOE Senator.
Thank you very much, Aaron Sunga from the PAC Party. Before we get to the questions, I just want to give a reminder really quick to make sure that we keep things moving. We're going to ask senatorial candidates to limit their responses to 2 minutes. If you do go on for any longer than 2 minutes, we will have to cut you off just to keep things rolling. And the other thing is that we will ask you to keep your responses civil and just all in all, on the up and up. All in all, very good and very nice. Make sure that we stick to the issues. And then with all that said, I think we'll go ahead and get started. So the first question that I have is actually something that Ryan mentioned in his opening statement, which was that in the 2013 to 2014 academic year, 500 students graduated from the Bournes College of Engineering. Of these, 77% of them were men. Only 23% were women. And this is one of the largest gender gaps out of any college in the UCR. So my question is, what would you as a BCOE Senator do to help alleviate this gender gap? And Ryan first.
It's a very important issue and good question. As the most important thing to get people interested in engineering of all backgrounds, no matter if you're a woman or a woman, or no matter what race or background you come from. The only way you're going to get interested in engineering is if you're introduced to engineering or science at a young age. So the most important thing to do is have outreach events that will connect with kids at a young age so that they can get exposure to engineering and have the decision themselves. If they want to pursue, after we outreach to the kids, they'll have the opportunity to decide for themselves whether they want to pursue engineering. So that's the best way, is to create more and more outreach events, like we are doing right now. Like we have Discover Day, where students can come to UCR and it's just a big science fair where undergraduate students interact with kids. So I think that as a BCOE senator myself, I would want to have a hands-in involvement in the outreach events that we have for kids that come to UCR, as well as outreach to the Riverside community, as the high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, just so that we can reduce or increase the amount of exposure of not just women, but people of all backgrounds to engineering.
Thank you very much, Ryan. Aaron, same question to you.
Okay, I completely agree. Outreach is really important, and I see that every day because with being part of 2 organizations here on campus, BMES and SHIP, we go to many high schools, middle schools, elementary schools, and we encourage them to go into the STEM fields. But as being a woman engineer, it is difficult getting into this field. We feel intimidated at times. At times I come to class and people don't expect me to be an engineer. And if we empower women to be in the STEM field, that's how we will get girls to want to be engineers or doctors or mechanical engineers. One important fact I see when we do outreach events is talking to the parents, because the parents are going to push their children to go into the STEM fields, and a lot of parents around in this area don't really know about college, and they themselves didn't go to college. So if we can target parents specifically, I feel like they can themselves encourage their students. And then obviously talk about meeting with the students. I've done many outreach events to encourage them to be in the STEM field. We've done UBLEC, where we make different projects, we made mechanical arms. It's so much fun, and I feel like that's really important to bridge the gap between that, and we just need to be extremely confident to make people proud to be part of BCOE and want to join BCOE, as long as we are proud to be here. Yes.
Thank you very much, Erin. One of the most important roles a senator can have is to communicate with the student body, to be able to communicate with their constituents. In fact, it's sort of the defining role of a senator. I want to know what experience that you as a person have in communication.
Okay. So communication is key with any organization, group, or anything that you do on campus. Being part of the board of BMES, I've noticed that conflict arises and you need to be able to communicate. And in order for being part of my party, we have proposed to have office hours where at least one of our senators or one of the board will be there to make sure that your voice is heard and to ensure that people will be able to tell us what they want to change here at UCR, because it's not only about what we want, it's what you guys want, and communicating through us will allow us to talk to administration and all the great resources that we have to make change here on campus. And our main goal for PAC is to make those office hours, and not only have the office hours but also have student hours where we can go out to the students and find out what you guys want. And something that I wanted to personally do is go to different engineering classes and be like, what do you want to change here? What do you want to change it within BCOE? And even being able to go to different club meetings, because I have many clubs that I go attend to, but I want to see what else everyone else wants and changes here on UCR.
Thank you very much, Aaron of PAC. And Ryan?
So the question was, what makes me qualified to be a senator and communicate effectively, and how am I going to do that?
As well as what plans your party has to communicate with the student body.
Well, personally, I have, with my BCOE community specifically, I've held many positions. I'm an undergraduate research assistant, I am a peer leader for freshman students, and I am part of a society of mechanical engineers. So I have connections already in my community that will allow me to easily communicate and talk to as easily just going up to the club or anybody in my major and talking to them personally, one-on-one, and seeing what issues affect them the most. From talking to people already, I've already found that people are concerned about all the labs, all our computers being taken away, and we're supposed to provide our own laptops. How are we supposed to provide our own laptops with all that expensive software? How are we expected to do all that? So that's one issue, and that's a big issue. And then just talking to more people, a small issue. Why don't we have a microwave in Bytes? So it's just, I will take the initiative to go out to clubs, go out to everybody, my roommates, my friends, and everybody, because I care about everybody. I want to know what you guys are worried about. I want to make a change. I want to make you guys love your undergraduate experience as much as I love it here. So I'm really motivated, and thank you.
Thank you very much. And lastly, we have an audience-submitted question. What changes do you have in mind for non-traditional students? And we'll start with Ryan.
What do you mean by non-traditional students?
Non-traditional, it doesn't say on the question, but I can infer, meaning commuter students or students who transfer from a community college or students who may be student parents.
Well, my party, Our Voice, is thinking about a carnival, like a project where all the clubs can come out and table, or not table, but have their own booth, like a dunk tank, or you throw a ring on a bottle, and at that booth they'll have maybe something that their club is proud of, like a poster or a project, and they'll be able to speak on that. So that will bring people from the community and build interest to the clubs, as well as build a stronger community on campus, because there's a great disconnect between BCOE and CNAS and CHAS. And it shouldn't be like that. We're all Highlanders. We should all be together. We should all be proud to go to this school. And I think a carnival is something that would create pride, progress, and empowerment.
Thank you very much. And Aaron?
Can you repeat the question, please?
Yeah. The question submitted by the audience was, what changes do you have in mind for non-traditional students? And in this context, we're assuming non-traditional means student parents, commuters, and students who have transferred from community college.
Part of our party, we have many different students, and one of them is a transfer student, and she has voiced her concerns about being a transfer student and not feeling completely included here on campus. So one of the things we proposed as a party, we wanted to make the orientation for transfer students just like that if you were a freshman. Freshman students get the whole shebang, the carnival, like all the booths come out, they recruit them, you get tons of emails, you get letters in the mail, like constantly. Get a transfer student, you SIR, and you're like, okay, thank you, see you later, coming to UCR. And I just feel like if we included them even more and treated them as if we're so excited for them to be here, then they would be even more proud to be here, be at UCR, and that's what PAC is all about, is making our students proud to be here, and then taking action, which would be including students even more, even though they are different than traditional freshmen that comes in, and then making a change. So.
Thank you very much, and a big thank you to the BCOE candidates, Ryan Torrento of Our Voice and Aaron Songa of PAC. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And again, I'm going to remind candidates to please limit their responses to these questions to 2 minutes. That way we can get as many questions in as possible, and to please be civil in your responses. And we'll go ahead and get started. First of all, the 6-year graduation rate for CNES students is, for students who enter CNES as freshmen and graduate within 6 years, is 39%. What would you and your party do to improve this rate? And we'll go to Wenyu Chow first.
Great question. Thank you. Personally, as our party, we're really big on pride, progress, and empowerment. And a big aspect of this is empowering the students. A lot of students in CNAS are really focused on academics specifically. They're not aware of the different organizations, the different clubs, and all the different aspects of UCR that is there to offer for them. There are a lot of resources, and as a candidate, as a CNAS senator, I want to inform all the students, and I want to provide these resources to them. Our party, we came up with a lot of great ideas, as mentioned by Ryan, our BCOE senator. We wanted to create a World Fair around the bell tower at every beginning of each quarter to provide students and allow students to know that these are the clubs that are offered here. We have over 400 clubs, and we should be glad of that. So I want to be able to just offer all the resources to allow the students to know that there are support systems, there are group systems for them to go to. There's the academic resource system. For CNAS, there's HPAC, and they have a peer mentor program, which should be mandatory for every student to be able to go to, and for them to ask for help, to ask them for any questions they need. And by that, we'll definitely help them succeed in their career. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Robert Petonia of YOUCR.
What are the things I would like to do to help students graduate at an early rate from here at UCR? It's true that CNS students tend to graduate at much longer rate, period of time than expected. One thing I'm working on, if I get to be elected as your CNS senator, that I will be able to work more on that, is to create a program that will incorporate mentors and internships and apprenticeships and scholarship programs that will help students to go through their undergraduate experience without having a gap in between their education. We know for sure, for example, that students want to graduate from undergraduate, go to graduate school. Some of them want to go to professional schools. Some of them want to go straight to the workforce, but they don't know how to get there. Or maybe they do, but there's no specific structure that's going to help them to get there. And this mentorship program that I'm trying to work on will help these students to navigate the way from the undergraduate to the place where they want to get to more easily. For example, if they have already available a research program, for example, that's waiting for them, and they know that at this particular time they're going to get involved with that research with this professor and this particular lab, then they don't have to worry or spend so much time within the student, within the CNS department here as an undergraduate. So that's one of the things I would like to see go on if I'm elected your CNS senator in the future.
Thank you very much. Another question is regarding class availability. A lot of the classes that CNAS students have to take are some in the Chem series or in the lower division biology series or physics for that matter. And a lot of these courses are reserved either for learning communities or for students who are in that major. And I wanted to know what you would do as a senator to make some of those courses more easily available or accessible for students who are not necessarily biology or chemistry majors. And we'll start off with Robert Petonia.
Okay, it's true that some of the classes that we have for CNAS students may as well be needed by students who are not in CNAS major. For example, students who are trying to get to medical school but they're in psychology major and they're already by that nature in chess and they want to take these classes. So there's an overwhelming amount of time that they have to spend before they can actually get to take those classes. One of the things I would like to see done is that if we can create an online forum to get to teach the students, for example, online classes in math, that's not going to be that's not going to take so much time for the students having to wait for the professors for a quarter or longer. Online forum will be able to help the students to get to wherever they want to within a shorter time. So that's one of the things I would like to do to help navigate the students through the course for a shorter time than they actually are doing at the current moment.
Thank you very much, Robert Petonia. Wenyu Chow of Our Voice.
This is definitely an issue that is something to improve. And as your CNAS senator, I definitely want to work with the CNAS advisors to really help create more classes for biology, chemistry, and these general classes that we have to take in the CNAS major. I understand that a lot of them are only secluded to learning communities, but they are open after a while. And so I feel like if we were to create a system where the students will inform their advisors beforehand, before the quarter that they're going to take it, giving them a heads up, allowing them to know that they're going to be thinking about it. So later on, the advisors will have an easier time creating classes, opening classes, finding the professors to teach each and every single individual classes. This will create a better system for them and will also alleviate a lot of stress on the advisors as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We now have an audience submitted question. And the question is, how will you make yourself accountable for all of your actions and promises? And we will start with Wenyu Chow of Our Voice.
Thank you. So for me, I'm very passionate, as I already mentioned, about student government, and I'm always the person to help out and be accountable and be there to support not only my friends, but for those who I've never met before. Yesterday in class, I met two commuters who is not aware of a lot of programs, who do not have a place to stay and constantly have to travel above like an hour just to get to school and go home every single day. And I was asking them, wondering what their suggestions were. For me, what I heard back is that they want a place to just be able to meet other people, a place where they can feel like home. And UCR is our home. It's our family. It's a group of, it's a place where we come to learn, to have fun, to be social, and to meet our future friends. And so I'll be held accountable because I want to provide the best experience for everyone here, not only in CNAS, but for every single student on campus. And by doing so, I hope that we'll all be able to achieve our careers and know that UCR is the best place to be. Thank you.
Thank you. And Robert Petonia of YOUCR.
As I came here at first, I told you that one of the three platforms that my party runs on is accountability, which means we want to be held accountable towards the things that we say we will do so that we be able to actually get to do them. We know that currently the senators that are part of the ASUCR have a forum where they post the things that they've been able to achieve throughout the quarters, but there's no open forum for actually accountability to be held against them by the students. So one of the things I would like to see is to create an online forum within that website, the ASUCR Student Elections website, where the students can actually post their evaluations and their suggestions and their criticisms that they would like to see me do and that they would like to see done more. And with that way I can actually get to grade myself. Have I been better in the past than I said I did? Have I been better today? What do I need to do tomorrow to actually convince the students that I'm actually serving them? Because a servant is a leader, and the leader is to be a servant. No one can be a leader without being a servant.
Thank you very much. And thank you again to the CNES candidates for coming up, Robert Petonia of YOUCR and Wenyu Chow of Our Voice. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you again, everybody, for coming in. And again, we'll just start off with brief 1-minute introductions of everybody, and we'll start off with Corey Willis.
All right, hello everyone. Thank you all for coming out. I really appreciate it. I know it's hot out there. They got me in this suit. My name is Corey Willis, and I am running for your Chas Senator with the Our Voice Party. I never really saw myself as someone being involved in student government, but last year, lobbying for real student issues like better protection for sexual assault survivors and lowering student tuition, I was really empowered and inspired by how powerful, as students, our voice can be. I'm a Riverside native. I have a really deep and intimate connection with this city. I've seen it progress. From orange groves to the beautiful city that it is now, and I'm proud of this university and the city as a whole, and I want to see that pride instilled in every student. And most important to me is empowering not only student groups, but individual students to know how powerful our voice is together. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is, closer. All right, hello everyone, my name is Casey Thielhart. I'm running to be your Chas Senator with the Our Voice Party. We are running on a platform of pride, progress, and empowerment. As a Chas student, one of my biggest concerns when I graduate is that my degree won't get me the job I want. Every day on the news, I go home, I see that the value of a university degree is decreasing, yet at the same time, I hear on the news that UC President Janet Napolitano wants to increase our tuition. Our party, the Our Voice Party, opposes tuition increases at every opportunity we can. Now, it isn't just enough to stop tuition increases. What we need to do is provide our students with skills that will separate them from other applicants when they're applying for jobs. We need to not just put on a resume that we have a degree from UCR, but we need to have valuable skills that separate us and get us those jobs. Thank you. I'm Casey Taylor, and I'm running with the Our Voice Party.
Hi everyone, my name is Johnson Pham. I'm a second-year linguistics student and running with PAC. So PAC stands for Pride, Action, and Change, and these are a platform that I would like to carry with me. When I'm asked the question, why am I running, obviously the first thing I think of is I really love UCR. Through my advocacy work with the UC Student Association and the United Students Against Sweatshops network, I've been able to travel across all 10 UCs and do advocacy work on all campuses. And I can safely say that coming back to UCR, this is where I want to be because this is where I belong. That being said, loving your campus is not enough for this position. I can say that everyone here on this platform loves this campus, but that doesn't make you qualified to run for a senator. I'm qualified for the senator because this is literally all I've been doing since I started here at UCR. And it's through people who came above me, mentors who empowered me and gave me a voice and listened. And I want to be that person. I want to empower the voices of marginalized students, and that's why I'm running for your next Chas Senator. Thank you so much.
Hi everyone, I'm Tia Ray. I'm a third-year political science, law and society major. I'm running with the PAC, and we stand for Pride, Action, and Change. The reason why I'm running is because I've seen a lot of leaders around campus, and they're really inspiring, and they motivate me to be a more effective leader. And so when I'm trying to accomplish my goals on campus, I really look to them for advice, and I found that I'm really interested in student issues, and I'm willing to raise my voice, and I'm really willing to advocate for the students, and I think that's what makes me qualified. I'm able to articulate what I want and what the students need, and I'm willing to talk to them to find out what that is. So the PAC, I mean, we have all the things you need to get to change. Pride. I have so much pride in Riverside because I'm from here, and UCR's community is...
Thank you very much, Tia.
Oh, thank you.
Just gonna keep things moving, I'm sorry. And lastly, the YOUCR party.
Hello, my name is Teslim Aziz. I am a political science and sociology double major. The reason why I chose to run for this position, which is Chas Senator, is because I feel like as a group, we do not have a lot of representation on campus. We are one of the biggest majors, but we do not have actually a large amount of resources dedicated to us in comparison to other majors. one of the things I want to really advocate for if I am elected as a senator would be to further work with the CHAS department to do more research on campus versus just having like a couple of different programs where you could just go in, such as the Career Center, and have like actual labs where we could do like on the ground work.
Hello, my name is Catherine Lee. I am currently a second-year philosophy major. I am running with the HUB party. Something that's very important to me is advocacy for students. I really want to listen to every individual voice, and I feel like that students sometimes feel disconnected from the campus, and ASUCR should be able to not let that happen. We should have many safe spaces for students. Everyone should have a place where they can be, where they can hang out, where they can feel connected. There is a lot of safe spaces currently at the Costo Hall where they advocate as the Asian American communities, other communities as well, and all minorities, and I think that's very important. People should be able to go to those places, feel connected, whether you're a commuter, whether you're a transfer student, and also I advocate and support projects such as the food pantry, which is important, and I believe that everyone should be connected at UCR.
Thank you very much, everybody. And I'm just going to I'll say it for the third time, but I'm just going to remind everybody to please limit your responses to 2 minutes per question. That way we can keep things moving, and please be civil in your responses. Since there are 2 senators representing each party up here, I will address the questions to the party, and then you can pass the microphone to whoever wants to answer the question. And if the other senatorial candidate wants to add to that, they can do that as well. The first question I have has to do with foreign language requirement for CHAS senators, or for CHAS students. And this is something that pretty much all CHAS students have to take. And there are many complaints that say that they're hard to enroll in, or they're a bit excessive. Different students obviously have different opinions of the foreign language requirement. And I was just curious what you and your party's thoughts were on the foreign language requirement for CHAS students, if there are any problems enrolling or succeeding in those courses, and if so, what would you and your party do to improve that? And we'll start with Corey Willis and Casey Teal.
So I myself am an anthropology major, and I think one thing that's very important is allowing students to know their options. So although I am in the humanities, my degree is actually a bachelor's of science, which means I don't have to take 3 years of foreign language. But I know bachelor's of arts students have to take 4, and it can be difficult. I'm in Chinese right now. Whoa, it's very difficult. I'm not even gonna try. But I think what is important is seeing the pass rates for students as they get up into these higher levels of foreign language. I don't think, especially with unit caps and things, we should be requiring students to take very difficult classes at these upper levels, and it is difficult to get into, it's difficult to pass these classes. I think that a year of foreign language is very adequate for any situation, and I believe that 3/4 is enough, and I would advocate to push for 3/4 being the limit and going past that being up to the students.
Thank you very much, Our Voice Party. The YOUCR party?
For this issue, what was exactly the question?
The question was, how important do you think foreign language requirements are for CHAS students? Do you think there are any problems with enrolling and succeeding when it comes to foreign language requirements? And if so, what would you advocate for to improve on those, to help ameliorate those problems?
Foreign languages are important. I feel like everyone should be able to learn different cultures and be able to immerse themselves in it. I think the requirement is about 4 years, and I don't think there should be necessarily a shortage of it in case that anyone believes in the 4 years. We would have to, gather more data on that for seeing what everybody wants. But I think that foreign languages are important. It's fun to learn a new culture, and I think that it is hard enrolling, as I've had those issues myself, and I will thoroughly investigate that if I'm elected to be the CHAS senator.
Also, adding on to that, I feel like these requirements are pretty beneficial for us as because a lot of our majors involve more social sciences where we will be working with other people and working with people from diverse cultural groups. So having this requirement I feel is essential, but I feel like having it shortened a little bit would be beneficial because reaching such a high level of foreign language is only necessary if you will be using it in your line of work or your field of work versus just having a solid understanding in case you need to communicate in a minor level with somebody of a different ethnic origin.
Thank you very much, the YOUCR party. And lastly, PAC.
Hi, so I'm a linguistics major, so I fully support this foreign language requirement. And I think it goes back to the idea of why we're enrolled in college, right? So I think where our future is heading, college has become this like factory for creating careers, when in fact, the institution of higher learning should be a way for you to become, a balanced individual who has knowledge in all these different areas. I'd like to acknowledge the fact that we're standing here on Kauai land, we're standing here on land that's occupied, and so it's very important to recognize that, our country is more than just one language, one culture. It's important to recognize all these different languages and how they inform, our English and how we interact on a daily basis. I do feel that this requirement is so beneficial because even in the professional world, employers are looking for people who can speak more than one language. It's kind of a win-win situation. When we look at the problem of, problems with enrollment or the lack of classes, I think that should be where we target, making more emphasis on making classes, making it easier to enroll in students, not taking out the requirement, because I do genuinely feel that learning more language, it gives you so much knowledge of like another culture, as has been discussed before, and it really, elevates you as a person, and it gives you all these like important information about the world that you would not have picked up otherwise. Cool, thank you.
Thank you very much, PAC party. Moving on to the next question was, the White House report that was released last year indicated that 1 out of every 5 women is raped while they're college students. There were last year, or I believe the most recent year for which statistics are available, which is 2013, there were 6 reported
sexual assault. The issue of preventing sexual assault on campuses should be something that's survivor-centered and catered, and that we have a lot to work to do with policy changes, while also destigmatizing the idea that there's an idea of a perfect survivor story, or that these sexual assault cases actually look they're ephemeral, they're actually all around us, and we need to, have the courage to, bring more attention to what's happening and really work to undo all these institutional problems that led to, the clitoriac underreporting and things like that.
Thank you very much, the PAC party. And finally, our voice.
Thank you for that question. It is an excellent question. Sexual assault is something that should not be an issue on college campuses. When we're here, this should be our home, and we should feel safe in our home. Currently, the Our Voice Party this year has created a task force and committee on sexual assault, created by our president, our presidential candidate, Ashley Hirano, and we plan to continue that in the next year. Another issue we have is I live in AI, and one of the first things I learned here was the horrendously named rape trail. We should not have something named that on our campus. It should not be a nickname that students have for something on it. We need to be promoting lighting, better lighting, make sure that students feel safe when they walk home from class. We need to better promote services that we have, like the campus safety escort services. Everyone should feel safe on campus because it is our home, and our home should be your safety blanket.
Thank you very much. There are now a few audience-submitted questions that I'd like to ask, and I'll ask one to each party. So the first question will be toward the PAC party, and the question is, if you are elected as ASUCR Senator, how would you hold your fellow ASUCR colleagues accountable?
Hello? Hi. First thing I would do is make sure and ensure that the democratic process is being fulfilled, as in everyone is having their voice heard, because everyone deserves proper representation. And on top of that, I am a big advocate for the rules, and I like to enforce them. I like to implement a better understanding of the rules, and I think that being able to change them is the right way to do it, and advocating for that is a way to make change.
As someone who is very heavily involved in the current office right now, I have to say that a big problem that I see with the current structure with the office and with the senators is that there are no mandated senator office hours. A lot of times when I have come to the office, it was like virtually empty. And it's very hard to reach your senators other than email, which, you know, as college students, they don't always get replied to as quickly as we'd like them to be. In order to hold my other senators accountable if I were to be elected, I would really like to make it a standing order for, you know, mandated office hours, because, you know, it's already a scary place for students to come to reach to senators and AS without really knowing all those rules and how to actually do it. It'd be more instrumental to having students come up to us if we had a set time for people to talk to us. And I feel that should be a no-brainer. It should be something that we already have.
Thank you very much, PAC Party. The next audience submitted question will be for the Our Voice Party. And the question is, what are you going to do differently? So what are you going to do differently from the current ASUCR government?
That's a good question, and there are a lot of changes that we want to make, and I think number one for me is transparency. And there have been a lot of issues, I know, with how student fees are being spent. You guys all pay into ASUCR, myself included, and I believe that most importantly what I would do is being more transparent, not only with how money is being spent, but with how decisions are being made, publishing what senators are doing, what they're working on, and making sure that that is well publicized so the students know exactly what they're getting for their money and what is happening. It shouldn't be a secret. It's student government. We are students just like you. It's the same issues, and they should be represented, and you should know what's going on.
Thank you very much, Our Voice. The last student submitted question will be for the YOUCR party, and this one's a little bit longer, so bear with me. The question is, many times student advocates encounter roadblocks and sometimes opposition when working with administration, so people in Hinderocker Hall, the chancellor's office, etc. What is your experience with administration, and how would you avoid these situations while serving your constituents?
The question was asking how we would...
What your experience is with administration and how you would avoid situations where you encounter roadblocks, or you would deal with situations that have roadblocks while serving your constituents.
So I do know that there were certain events where some people gathered and they went to the Chancellor's Hall. And when these problems arise, it seems like a very sensitive situation because it's where students are trying to speak with the Chancellor and the staff that have been experienced. They've already graduated university, they've already had these degrees, and I feel like students have that kind of separation between the two. And what students could do for that is keep these events going. I feel like that our voices should be heard, and students should have what they want to say given out to whoever they want to tell. So when there are issues like this, although it is very sensitive, as in that there can't exactly be like a strike, or there can't exactly be a huge student body change, but students should not give up hope. And as ASUCR representatives, I believe that we would be able to help in that and help students create a unanimous voice and be able to produce changes.
Adding on quickly, also a lot of the staff that you need to speak to, they have extremely compressed appointment slots, and they aren't available unless you make an appointment. But the thing is, these appointments often span 2 weeks later than the day you actually came in to talk, and that is a big issue, because if you need to talk to an official about something urgent and they give you 2 weeks later, then you don't have the right resources to act on whatever the issue is.
All right, thank you everybody for your responses. We have room for one more question, it looks like, and we'll just do a roundtable of everybody again. One of the things that some UCR students talk about when they come here is that there's maybe not a lot of stuff to do around Riverside, or that they don't feel very connected to the broader Riverside community. And so the question building off of that is, what would you do as an ASUCR senator to help build out the UCR community to include Riverside and to make students more connected with the overall community? And we'll go ahead and start with the Our Voice.
That's a fantastic question. Now, like I said, I'm a Riverside native. I grew up here, so I'm familiar with a lot of the culture and a lot of everything that goes on. And I think getting the UCR community involved with that is very good. So a former Riverside candidate is working on Project DTR, which is Project Downtown Riverside, and that is getting more students aware of what is happening downtown. There's a lot of fantastic bars, all sorts of great places to eat, a lot of good things that are happening downtown that students either are not familiar with, or they just have no way to get there. So along with getting them there, I think a trolley system that goes downtown would be very good, and letting them know what is down there and getting them out there. And you guys should all go to Back to the Grind for coffee because it's delicious.
Another issue I've heard from another ASUCR Senate candidate is that a lot of the Riverside natives kind of resent us. They view us as just being loud and that we don't really give back to the community. So one of the things I'd like to do is give back to the Riverside community. We would be continuing the DTR plan that we already have, and it's just connect better with the community, show that UCR isn't here just a university, that we're a representative of the community at large in Riverside.
Thank you. The PAC party?
Okay. Yeah, so the fundamental idea that, like, you know, our college or university is kind of separated from the greater Riverside community, I think is something we've all felt. I do feel that, like, the downtown Riverside community with all their different events is actually like a source for events, or a venue for events that we've never really tapped into before. Earlier in winter quarter, my friend had hosted this, you know, poetry event, this spoken mic event for queer and trans people of color, resiliency, and we did not expect to have a lot of people show up just because it was a campus event that was hosted in the community at Back to the Grind. That's where he pointed out it's a really great place, and a lot of people showed. I think, you know, I think we should expand the idea of maybe hosting events in downtown Riverside, or maybe even, you know, in the Thursday art walk, and the first Thursday of every month, there's like a huge art gallery and showing in the downtown Riverside. If we could, you know, bring more students there and get them to know and be more connected with our campus, that would be, like, our community, that would be something that's really amazing to me, and I'd like love to do an initiative like that.
There's a lot of history that connects Riverside to UCR, and I'm not sure if a lot of students are aware of the deep-rooted history that we share. I don't know if people know, but UCR is the only UC that was actually brought here by the community. The community asked for UCR to be here. All of the other UCs have been brought there because it's a certain city or a certain constituency, but we're not like that, so it would be awesome to have more events that connect us, history events, things like that.
And lastly, the YOUCR party.
One of the major issues I've realized with students and connecting to with the community is that a lot of the neighbors have issues with the homes for rent. One of the issues is that they feel too many people are living in these homes and that we are causing too much traffic. One of the issues that the way I feel we can solve this issue is making sure students are aware that we aren't, that the UCR students are passing through and these people have settled here for life. These are their homes, and when we do come, we should be a lot more respectful in our communities. We should have events held for homeowners in our community so they can get to know our students and get to know what UCR is doing and what we have to offer and how we are giving back to each of them individually, and not just know us for like certain individuals who are making the environment less livable for them, and know the students who are actually here making a difference, making it a better community overall.
At UCR, UCR, there are many students that have been living at Riverside and they have their homes there. So at UCR, the students are the community as well. They are part of the community, and when you advocate for the students and when you have things or projects such as the food pantry, which is feeding students who cannot. So I believe in supporting projects such as the food pantry and also supporting more projects and listening to what everyone has to say.
Thank you very much. And I'll just give a last round of thank you to everybody, to all the CHAS candidates who came up. Corey Willis and Casey Tealhart of Our Voice, Johnson Pham and Tia Ray of PAC, and Tesla Aziz and Catherine Lee of YOUCR. Thank you, everybody.